Welcome home. This is the Irish Roots Cafe, where every day's a holiday and there's always room for one more. Come right this way, have a seat with me today in the corner booth, celebrating episode number 131. Sweeney, clear that floor. Katie, bar the door. Molly, put on another pot of Irish coffee and bring out the Irish dancers. It's time we get this show on the road. Hey, there's another full house today. Not a chair to spare. I'm Mike OLaughlin, your host. You can reach me on my webpage at irishroots.com, and be sure to check out the written show notes on my blog. I've got some links there. You just click on them, and they'll tell you more about the stories or the videos that I might be talking about. And you can search out on my webpage anytime you want to. We got all kinds of little search boxes there, so you can find out what you're looking for there, too. You can always phone me at 816-256-3360, and just leave your comments on my recorder there, and we'll take care of it from there. And you can even leave a question there that I could play on the air if it works. And now we're coming to today's topics. Well, number one, Keeffe is the Irish family of the day. Long, Morris, Toad, McKelvey, the sea captain, and Cregan are families being searched for. Record swimming record set at an Irish lake. A record salmon record caught at Minister's Hole. And Galway wants to end the silence. Want to record an oral history of the Irish. And number 7, the African Irish in the Caribbean. Well, now it's time for the notes for the week. I think I'm just going to have one. It's taken up all of my time. The very first actual Irish head school lesson is ready to go up for our new podcast series. We put an introduction up a couple of weeks ago, and we introduced myself and Peter last week on last week's episode, and we're getting ready to start the very first one. So this has sure been a lot of fun. I've been learning all kinds of things, and you will too. I think it'll be worth their time. If you got any inkling at all on things Irish or history, I think you're going to like it. We cover everything in the world. We've got so many subjects going that it's really going to be a lot of fun. And I think that first one we might actually do on the history of the hedge schools and education in Ireland, maybe the first two. We've got a lot of information there. And don't forget the Bardic schools and the monastic schools. And, we appreciate your support of our new hedge school here. And remember that your membership keeps everything going. This broadcast is another of the one-of-a-kind projects we've got going here at the Irish Roots Cafe, and it's you that make it possible. Now you can listen to that series either on iTunes, got a link on the blog, or on my webpage at irishroots.com under Irish Hedgerow History, I think it says. Just click on that first page, takes you right there. But I've also got a link on the blog if you want to, so it's easy to get to. And that makes 6 total podcast series we've got going now, one at a time. So just let us know what you like or what you'd like to see more of, or if you'd like to help us on one or another of them, hey, we can always use that too. But spread the word, it's out there, and we're doing our very best. Now it's going to be time for the Book of the Month. Well, we're going to make today's Book of the Month Families of the Clanna Rory in Ireland. And I've got a link there on the blog, and I'll just read a little bit from that introduction. He says, this was the work that this work is of interest to family researchers and historians. It's very unique in its era, and the early date of its appearance, which is actually 1864, and the subject matter, which is the Clanna Rory. You sure don't see anything else written on it back then, or very seldom at all. And it came into print before the 19th century work on the genealogical history of the Milesian families of Ireland. That's another work that I published. And this volume we're talking about today is by chronology, and it doesn't have as many names or charts as found in Milesian families, but it goes into much more detail for the families of the Clanna Rory, much more narrative on the families. And with that, you're going to find more hope in uncovering your family history if you're in there. And historians will also find more material to prove or disprove, as the case may be. And once again, just like the podcast, these books are responsible or have come about because of your help and support over the years. And we've got several there that came out in the 19th century, really the leading works, and we've published them, the big ones, the little ones, the scholarly and the very unscholarly for a few of them. And there'll be some imperfections on several things, and sometimes it's because the original copies were so scarred up. But I tell you what, they've survived all the way to the 21st century, so it's a real treat. Hey, what are some of the names in there? Boy, this list is too big to even start. What, I got 5 pages? Well, I can't read all that. I'll put all 5 pages worth of these names on the blog, so it'll be much easier for you to take a look at them. But you know, the McGinnises are there, and O'More, and O'Cronley, and O'Dugan, and McCartan, Clanfergus, O'Kiley, McShanley or Shanley, Gaynor, and Nees, and Connery, and Corkadallen, and Rogers, McCrory, and McMullins. There's just too many to go through. Mr. Hardy's even mentioned in there, and the arms of McGinnis. And McGinnis is one of those Clanna Rory families. And so is Cronelli, and Moore, and Dugan, and McGowan, and McGinn. Who else? This last page here, I'll just take a few off here. O'Connor Carey, they say, is part of that. And they say OLaughlin is too. And they talk a little bit about gala glasses in there now and then. Those are those armed fighting men that were for hire, and they came from Scotland. So that would be the McSweeneys probably. At least they were up north. And the arms of O'Farrell are in there. I think it's just written. I don't think they actually put the pictures in. You got to go to the Book of Arms for that. And the Drynans and McNevin and McRannell. I tell you, there's more than we can go into, but that just gives you a sample of the kind of names that are in there. And that reminds me to tell you that we've still got that blog reader out there. I don't know if it's a help or a hindrance, but it's one more way to reach people, so that's why we left it there. You just click on that little thing, and if you're reading the blog, and it will read the blog to you. But if you have this podcast going with my voice, then you don't need it. But you never know. There might be some folks that don't even know how to get a hold of the podcast, and they just work from the blog. And coming up later in the show, we're talking about African and Irish and some separate stories on the Irish need not apply. That's on a video. We'll come to that in a little bit. But now, what time is it? It's time to raise our eyes skyward, give thanks, and ask for help. Here are today's Magnificent 7. Well, number 1, renewing member Seamus Hojnowski of Philadelphia, PA. Your County Down genealogy book has shipped. Alexander Long was born in Killybegs, Upper maybe, in 1784, and married Catherine Kilpatrick, 1809, Mount Charles. They had James or John in 1815, who married Isabella and had great-grandpop George in 1849. Thanks a lot there, Seamus. And number 2, welcome new member John Anthony Toad of Upminster, UK. Says he's interested in the family of William Richard Morris, a sea captain who lived at 32 Warren's Place, Cork, and that was on 16/08/1887. And he says he has a marriage certificate of daughter Jane Bridget Delaney to Carl W.G. Toad. So if anybody has any clues to these families, just let me know and I'll get you in touch with our members. And number 3, Linda B. Kinnison of Concord, New Hampshire. Your 2 County Cork genealogy books have shipped. Number 4, welcome new member Anita Mckelvey of Magog, Quebec, Canada. and she's looking to find the name of James McKelvey, born 1779. His wife was Jane. Number 5, welcome new member Barbara Cregan of Basking Ridge, New Jersey. She says, our family surname is Cregan, and we're trying to determine who came to the U.S., when, and where from in Ireland. That's the story for all of us. It's just a matter of how far we've gotten. So anybody out there with some Cregan help, let us know. Number 6, Joanne Holland of Drain, Oregon. Your Annals of Ireland by the Four Masters has shipped. Number 7, Dr. King of County Mayo, Ireland. Your County Mayo genealogy and family history notes has shipped. That does it for today, and that's just one more time I have to say thanks to all of you for your support and help, because it's because of you that we're here, so thank you one more time. And let's take a look now. It's time for the Irish Family of the Day. Well, today's family is O'Keeffe, and that's in honor of member Cindy Marie Johnson. And we're going to first take a look, like we always do, at some of the related spellings of the name. There can be an O before the name, or that O can be dropped, just becoming Keefe. And it's a funny name because that double F in there, Keefe, Keeffe. Well, that double F can also be a single F, and even that double E can become a single E, and the E can be on the end of the name, but some people drop it. There's several other ways. I've got a few on the blog. It's in variant spelling groups 979 and 1671. That's from the Master Guide to the Various Spellings of Irish Family Names. Let's take just a quick look at some of the history I've got in the Book of Irish Families, Great and Small. And in there I tell about the O'Keeffe family and how they've always been identified with Cork, and that's where they were in the 1890 birth index. And that's where a majority of Keefe and O'Keeffe families are found. And, it's surprising. Maybe it's because it's such a short name, but so many families kept the O to that name. And even more have added the O back in modern days. So that's an exception to the rule as far as the older days keeping that O. Now, in the 17th century, you're going to find Keefe as a principal name of Kilkenny, and O'Keeffe was the same in Cork, and it was also found in Limerick. Now, O'Keeffe spelled O-K-I-E-F-E. That was a principal name in Limerick, and it was also found in County Clare. Now, we've talked about those double E's and double F's. They can be interchanged over time, so don't let that throw you if you're having a hard time in research. Let's just mention one famous one of the name. Father Owen O'Keeffe, who died in 1726, was president of the Bards of Northern Cork, and one of the names served as a general in the Irish Brigades of France. Well, let's take a look now at the Irish family coats of arms. Well, sure enough, the O'Keeffe family does have a coat of arms, or at least Anne O'Keeffe in Ireland had a coat of arms, and it's illustrated there. And it looks like there's a griffin there with a sword as the crest atop the coat of arms. And actually in the coat itself, there's a lion rampant, and there's two hands up at the top there, one to the left, one to the right of the lion. Interesting coat of arms, don't you think? So it's there, and it's easy to find in the Irish Book of Arms. Coming up later in this episode, they need some volunteers to record Irish oral history. I'd wonder if you'd be ready for that. Now, we'll finish this up with the free Master Index search of Irish family names. Found the name as O'Keeffe with that double F 41 times, and we'll just take 7 examples. O'Keeffe of Duhallow is in the History of the Clanna Rory book. J. and R. O'Keeffe in Irish Families on the California Trail book. There is an O'Keeffe history and several individuals in the Annals of Ireland by the Four Masters. You're also going to find Owen O'Keeffe and Keefe of Fermoy and Keefe's at Clontarf, the Battle of Clontarf. That's one thing. We've got a big episode in the Irish Hedgerow history podcast about Clontarf. Number 5, O'Keeffe is also found in King James Irish Army list, and that's a book. And then there's O'Keeffe of Desmond in the Families of County Cork, Ireland book. And just a plain old simple Keif is also in the Families of County Clare, Ireland book. And in quite a few more, but those are 7 we picked. And now it's time to move on to the websites of the week. Well, there's so many people out there that have these new iPhones, and my niece I think she has 2 of them. It's just crazy. I've got high school nephews. They've got them too. So I tell you, I'm just amazed. And here they've got a special application for that iPhone, and you can find you can find an Irish pub anywhere worldwide. Boston to Bangkok, and then there's also another kind of application for the iPhone for Irish lovers. So keep your eyes out. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Number 2, New Irish Famine Memorial in Providence, Rhode Island. That's a video that was put up on YouTube in 2007, and it's got photos with most of the song they play for most of it through the presentation is The Fields of Athenry, and that's quite a song. Now, number 3, I picked an ASL presentation. Jen Keefe, going with our family name of the day. She was doing looks like American Sign Language, and she has a family tree project, and she presents it in sign. So anybody that's got some Keefes out there that might be able to that know ASL might find it interesting. Number 4, the African Irish Caribbean Oral History. That's interesting, too. They talk about some hard times they've had settling in several different places, but it's real people talking, telling you their experiences, so I thought I'd put it up there just because I tell you, it's really different. Well, that brings us up to the very end of the day, and that's Curious News and Notes. Well, number 1, recording the history of the Irish who arrived in Britain before 1960. They're looking for 30 volunteers to help continue this project. They've already started it. They've got a nice web page laid out there, and you can see the article in the Irish Post, link on the blog, or at the Irish Oral History Archive webpage. Got that link on there too. Number 2, another iPhone app that I was talking about earlier is called My Ireland, and you can share photos, listen to the national anthem. How does that go? Shaina Faina Foil. Or you can mark your favorite places in Ireland and share it with other Irish or Ireland lovers, so that could be fun too, depending on your state of mind. Number 3, the largest salmon in almost 20 years was caught on the River Nore in Kilkenny, and it was the very last week of the fishing season. A 32-pound salmon caught near Minister's Hole. Boy, oh boy. More on that in the Irish World on the web. Got the link on the blog. Number 4, a world record for Armagh swimmers. A group sets a new Guinness World Record for open water swim at Camlow Lake in that comes from the Irish World too. So link on that if you want to see another record set. And number 5, the Great Silence, which might be construed as indifference, has surrounded the Great Irish Famine, they're saying over in Galway. And they said in this article, over 160 years have passed since the silence was broken in Galway City. And take a look at the Famine Memorial at the Celia Griffin Children's Park at Grattan Beach. And were those Irish famine survivors shocked and shamed, or was that why they were silent, or were they so battered and thankful to still be living that they couldn't speak of it at all? Well, here's another look at it from the Irish side of the Great Ocean. Take a look. Got that on the GalwayIndependent.com. Link on the blog. And number 6, Irish rat DNA helps trace origins of the ancient Irish. Well, isn't that interesting? It seems that the rodents in Ireland, particular areas of Ireland, have a history, a DNA history that's different from the rodents in England. And I think Scotland, too. There's a difference here. So they're saying these rodents arrived at a different time, which means it was habitable. So they're saying this may help them determine exactly when the first people settled in Ireland, before the Ice Age, after the Ice Age. I don't know, but boy, they're getting it down to a science. It's just one more example of how DNA is helping trace family history. In that case, the family history of everybody in Ireland, I think. Very interesting. Well, that does it for the day. We've just been so busy around here, I don't know what I'm going to do. Be sure to check out that Irish Hedgerow History podcast. We're just getting it launched, and we're real excited about it. We think there's a lot to do, and it'll be a lot of fun. Remember to send your comments by clicking the contact link on our webpage at www.irishroots.com, or send by mail to our American address, The Irish Roots Cafe, Box 7575, Kansas City, Missouri, 64116. Leave your message or report on things in your part of the world when you call my phone recorder at 816-256-3360. Skype me at Irish Roots Cafe. I'm on MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, Irish Central, and gosh, we're on iTunes too. There's no end to it all, but I've got all the links on the blog. If you're curious, you can go there and just click your whole life away all day long. Members foot the bill, so they get first priority, but we're open to all. And by the way, a big thank you to all of our members. And away.